Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS. Let's begin today's daily quiz with question number 1 on your screen. Consider the following statements with regards to the beating retreat ceremony and choose the ones which are incorrect. Number 1. It is unique to India and is not seen in other nations. Second, this beating retreat ceremony is conducted on January 28th every year, which is the second day after the Republic Day. Third, the venue of the beating retreat ceremony is a rise in a hills. You have to choose the incorrect ones. Out of the given three statements, the first and the second are incorrect. The third statement is correct. The reason why the two statements are incorrect is number 1, it is not unique to India. It is seen in most of the Commonwealth nations. So it was a tradition that was started by the British. Beating retreat ceremony mainly was that after the end of the parade, all the contingents that participated in the parade will go back to their quarters, their castles. This was called the beating retreat ceremony. It is still seen in most of the Commonwealth nations. Second also is wrong because a beating retreat ceremony is conducted on Jan 29th each year, means the third day after the 26th of Jan, that is the Republic Day of India. The third statement is correct. The venue of the beating retreat ceremony is the Raisina Hills, the place where Rashtrapati Bhavan of India is located. The reason why we are asking this question is because a Hindu newspaper carried this article today, which says that laser show will be a part of this year's Republic Day parade. Swarm drones will be used at the beating retreat ceremony, but unfortunately, the number of people in the audience will be cut down significantly. Last year, there were 25,000 visitors at the parade, and this year the number is expected to be somewhere between 5,000 and 8,000, which is much lower. The laser show or the drone show has been conceptualized, designed, produced, and choreographed within the country and is a part of the Make in India campaign. It is organized by a startup called Bot Lab Dynamics and is supported by IIT Delhi and the Department of Science and Technology. The parade usually begins with the Prime Minister paying tributes and laying a floral wreath at the National War Memorial. Next, question number 2. Which of the following nations recently relocated its capital due to the rising sea levels? Maldives, Indonesia, Mauritius, or the Philippines? The correct answer here is Indonesia. It was in the newspaper today that the Parliament of Indonesia has passed a law approving the relocation of its capital from Jakarta, that is slowly sinking due to the rising sea levels, to a new site which is about 2,000 kilometers away from Jakarta on a jungle-clad Borneo island. This will be named as Nusantara. Indonesia has been contemplating on this law since April 2019 due to the severe congestion on the densely populated Java island. Of late, issues of flooding have become extremely common in Jakarta, and that is why the government had decided to take this step. The new capital will cover over 56,000 hectares in East Kalimantan province of Indonesia's part of Borneo. However, this move also has been criticized by environmentalists, saying that the move here could damage the ecosystem of the region. Next, question number 3. The famous Silent Valley environmental movement was associated with which of the following states? Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Sikkim, or Kerala? The correct answer here is Kerala. The Silent Valley movement is one of the most prominent movements to have originated in the state of Kerala with a purpose to protect the Silent Valley National Park in the state. The reason why we are discussing this is because of this article in the Indian Express that talks about the famous environmental activist, that is M.K. Prasad, who recently passed away, who was a pioneer of this movement in the state. The author here says that he was one of the signatories to send an open letter to the Kerala Chief Minister against the ongoing Silver Line project in Kerala. The environmentalist was a leading member of the Kerala Shastra Sahitya Parishad that spearheaded the Silent Valley movement in Kerala. It was in 1977 that the Kerala government was going ahead with a plan to build a hydroelectric project across the river Kunthi, which flows through the Silent Valley, which is an evergreen forest in the Palakkad region. This movement was widely covered not just in India but across the world and set an example for such future movements to be organized across the country. Next, question number 4. Mekir Hills form a part of the border dispute between which of the following states? Assam-Meghalaya, Assam-Mizoram, Assam-Nagaland, or Assam-Arunachal Pradesh? The correct answer here is A. Mikir Hills form a part of the dispute between the states of Assam and Meghalaya. The reason why we are asking this question is because the Assam CM has said that a roadmap has been created for resolving 50-year-old boundary dispute with Meghalaya. Now, there are about 12 areas of dispute between the two states, and the extension of the Mikir Hills is one of them. Now, most of the northeastern states that you see today have been carved out of Assam only in the past, and that is why most of them have some border issues or other with Assam. And of late, these issues have unfortunately become violent, thus bringing them again to the limelight. Assam and Meghalaya share about 885-kilometer long border. Since Meghalaya was carved out of Assam under the Assam Reorganization Act of 1971. On 21st of Jan, that is just a couple of days from now, the state of Meghalaya will celebrate its 50th statehood day. And the Home Minister Amit Shah had said that we are expecting the issue to be resolved before this celebration takes off in the state. Next is a previous year question from 2019. In the context of which of the following do some scientists suggest the use of cirrus cloud thinning technique and the injection of sulfate aerosol into the stratosphere? Number 1, to create artificial rains in some regions. Second, reducing the frequency and intensity of tropical cyclones. Third, reducing the adverse effects of solar wind on the earth. And fourth, reducing the global warming. The correct answer here is D. This technique is suggested by some scientists to cut down on the amount of global warming across the world. The technique, how it will happen is, the cirrus clouds will be thinned by injecting ice nuclei such as dust into the regions where such clouds are formed. Now, once these clouds are thinner, it will allow for more heat to escape into the space, and thus it will cool down the planet, thus bringing down the amount of global warming that we are seeing today. It also increases reflectivity of the lower stratosphere to cast a small proportion of the inbound sunlight back into the space. Next, we have a fact of the day, and today we will be discussing about the Devas-Antrix deal that has been in the news for all the wrong reasons and is a matter of contention in the Supreme Court right now. Now, what exactly is this deal and what is the issue behind this deal? Now, Devas Multimedia is a private company that was incorporated in Bangalore in December 2004. Just a month later, in Jan 2005, Devas and Antrix signed an agreement. The deal was on the lease of space segment capacity on ISRO's S-band spacecraft by Devas Multimedia. This was also approved by the Union Cabinet later on in the year. So the idea was that Devas was supposed to provide internet services to the people of India using satellite technology. Devas even attracted about 579 crore rupees of FDI into India between 2006 and 2009. However, the things fell down after the famous 2G scam. In 2011, when the 2G scam came to light, the Union Telecom Minister was arrested, and there were allegations that there has been a big scam in allocating space spectrum. Thus, in the month of Feb 2011, this deal between Devas and Antrix was terminated. Now, Devas, that had made all the arrangements to set up their business, were not happy. They wanted compensation from Antrix. Thus, in 2015 September, International Chamber of Commerce Arbitration Tribunal said that Antrix should pay an award of $1.2 billion to Devas for terminating their deal. Now, obviously, it's a huge sum, and Antrix or ISRO were not ready to pay it. This matter was raised again in the US, but the US federal court sided with Devas and said that the judgment of the tribunal is correct and this money had to be paid. Then the matter went into Indian Supreme Court. In November 2020, the Supreme Court of India put a stay on this tribunal award and said that no money has to be paid right now. Antrix, on the other hand, last year went to the National Company Law Tribunal and asked for liquidation of Devas in India, which was approved and upheld even by the appellate tribunal. Devas obviously was not happy. Just a few days back, when the matter was being heard in a court in Canada, the Canadian court allows the seizure of assets of Air India to the investors of Devas Since Air India has properties across the country, their international properties could now be taken over by Devas in exchange for the money that was owed to them by the Indian government. Thus, we are at a stage where Devas Multimedia Organization is going to international courts asking them to uphold the tribunal award given to them in September 2015, and they are winning those cases. But Antrix and the government of India, on the other hand, they are relying on the judgment given by our Supreme Court and our National Company Law Tribunal and asking Devas not to take over their assets since the deal did not allow the assets to be taken over. The government's view on this is that there have been problems in the structuring of the Devas organization and we have to look into that. In fact, in 2013, the Enforcement Directorate was asked to look into the finances of Devas after a high level team said that the shareholding pattern of the company needs to be looked into in an appropriate manner. There have been multiple complaints filed against Devas in India at different agencies, including the CBI. In fact, in 2016, CBI had filed a charge sheet against 8 officials of Devas for being involved in a criminal conspiracy. This is still an ongoing matter where Devas is trying to acquire as many assets of Air India and the Indian government abroad, while the Indian government is trying to save those assets as much as possible. The latest development is that a couple of days back, the Supreme Court of India upheld the order of the National Company Law Tribunal to liquidate Devas. Thus, the foreign investors of Devas are not happy and they are still fighting for the compensation that has to be owed to them because of the 2005 deal that was cancelled because of the telecom scam. This is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching.